Hi, thank you for watching Digging to China. I'm Dong Sheng. If you have not done so already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. I came across news that Xi Jinping has published a new book. If my memory serves me right, over the past decade, Xi Jinping has written at least a dozen books while managing his busy schedule. It's been said that purchasing all of these books would cost around 4,000 yuan, roughly equivalent to $550. This means Xi Jinping has earned a substantial amount in book royalties. Typically, authors receive royalties in the range of 7% to 10%, and the successful authors can even earn around 15%. Xi Jinping's book royalties are almost certainly higher than those of successful authors because his books are expected to be bestsellers. The Ministry of Finance allocates funds, and each Communist Party member receives a set. Therefore, it can be said that Xi Jinping is a hidden wealthy individual. Despite his control over the nation, the money in his personal bank account still needs to be earned through his royalties. His earnings from these books should be in a similar range to what Mao Zedong received during his time. Mao Zedong had selected works of Mao Zedong, and I recall that when Mao Zedong passed away, he had earned the royalties totaling 300 million yuan. In today's context, Xi Jinping's royalties are likely to be around that same figure. After all, a set of his books costs approximately 4,000 yuan. These books serve as a vessel for Xi Jinping's ideological contributions, making them quite valuable. Wouldn't you agree? I often find myself thinking that Xi Jinping exists in the realm of time and space apart from our own. It seems as if he had 48 hours in his day, governing for a whole decade while still managing to author numerous books. It's not that history hadn't witnessed genius, but they usually excelled in specific fields or a handful of areas. Well-rounded genius are exceedingly rare in Chinese history, and they are a scarcity in global history as well. Barring the notable exceptions of the Akin family in North Korea, Xi Jinping, however, can be counted among these exceptional figures in the East Asian region. His extensive writings reflect his profound understanding of politics, economics, technology, diplomacy, military strategy, literature, arts, philosophy, history, and even epidemiology. His direct involvement in orchestrating strategies like Dynamic Zero underscores his profound grasp of the destiny of humanity. And as a result, he frequently assumes the role of guiding human society's development. At the conclusion of the Cultural Revolution, high-ranking members of the Chinese Communist Party contemplated the issue of fostering a personality cult within the party. Deng Xiaoping, a significant political figure in China, possessed the personal authority to prevent the resurgence of such cults. However, this scenario is rather peculiar, as trying to eliminate one personality cult with another is a challenging task. It's even more demanding than the approach taken by Mr. Chiang Ching-kuo in Taiwan, where he employed authoritarian methods to put an end to authoritarianism. The key issue here is one of transitioning power. Once this process is effectively managed and the power is decentralized, authoritarianism can be brought to an end. The issue of personality cult is fundamentally tied to the concentration of power. If the problem of decentralizing and making power more transparent isn't adequately addressed, and if authority remains firmly in the hands of a single individual, personality cult becomes challenging to combat. Nevertheless, this doesn't mean it has no impact. During the reigns of Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao, personality cult was noticeably less prevalent. Both leaders had received formal education and maintained a more modest profile. Hu Jintao in particular presided over a caretaker government and managed a peaceful transition of power to the higher-ranking Red Second Generation. Throughout his tenure, Hu Jintao exerted an air of self-doubt with less emphasis on self-mythologizing. Jiang Zemin and Hu Jintao did have their fair share of admirers, and attempts were made to build a cult of personality around them. However, these endeavors never developed into a full-fledged personal adoration. This can be attributed to a couple of factors. Firstly, the leaders themselves did not actively seek or encourage such veneration. They were not particularly inclined towards it. Secondly, the political climate during their tenures was relatively more open, and the concept of personal adoration wasn't taken as seriously. Aside from the routine praise and respect, there were no substantial movement or initiatives aimed at promoting personal idolization. The problem is rooted in this customary practice of exaltation. There is a Soviet-era joke that illustrates this. While Lenin was alive, he was the greatest expert on communism and the mentor of the communist movement. When Lenin died and Stalin took over, he suddenly became the greatest expert on communism. This profound transformation hinges on two factors: the passing of the former leader and the ascension of the new one. To put it simply, communism can be likened to a kind of religion. Despite its claims to be based on science, it doesn't have much in common with actual science. The only scientific aspect of its potential to be disproven. Beyond that, it lacks a real connection to the scientific method. In every communist regime, especially those that didn't come to power through election, if we can even find one that did, two key aspects must be emphasized, similar to how a religion would. One aspect revolves around moral standards. Virtually all communist regimes are associated with ethical controversies, but they invariably stress the significance of appearing morally superior and taking an assertive moral stance. This is because without this portrayal, they cannot substantiate their self-proclaimed excellence. For the Communist Party to assert its leadership over society, it must establish its moral superiority. This entails emphasizing moral standards outwardly while in reality being involved in morally ambiguous activities behind the scenes. The second key element is the necessity for a charismatic figurehead, akin to a leader or prophet, to oversee the movement. To establish the innate moral authority of a religion or a political party, a symbol of leadership is required. Reflect on this. Could a party leader formed by individuals with distinctive knowledge who commands the world's most advanced theories and social systems be considered an ordinary person? The answer is no. They must be a genius, a prophet. This customary practice of sanctification operates in essentially the same way, differing only in degree. Without any fundamental distinctions, it's an intrinsic need of the Communist Party that comes with its existence. Xi Jinping, however, has some unique characteristics. First, he possesses a notable ambition. He aspires to stand shoulder to shoulder with Mao Zedong, yearning for a place in history, even if it means being remembered for less than honorable deeds. Yet, his eagerness seems a bit too pronounced. Just by occupying his current position, his name is destined to be etched in the annals of shame. Secondly, Xi Jinping lacks significant political accomplishments to boast about. Apart from his victories in political power struggles, almost all his undertakings have yielded unfavorable results. This encompasses his efforts related to dynamic zero-COVID strategies, the establishment of the Beijing Stock Exchange, the Xiong'an New Area Project, the Belt and the Road Initiative, Chinese football, and various aggressive diplomatic maneuvers. With such a track record, drawing comparisons with Mao Zedong domestically relies heavily on self-aggrandization and propaganda. The genetic predisposition for personality cults was already at play. With various propaganda methods and trumpet blowing, the CCP's Central Propaganda Department created an all-around leader for the Chinese people. However, the problem arises when Xi Jinping insists on personally directing everything, making him the shortest board of the barrel in each field, and no one can surpass him, or rather, no one dares to surpass him. If we liken China to a wooden barrel, Xi Jinping represents the shortest stave in the barrel. As long as this stave is fitted onto the barrel, there won't be much room left for water inside. As long as Xi Jinping remains, this barrel can't hold much water, and a significant amount of water will leak out. In the past, China's internet application sector stood as a pioneer globally. However, whenever Xi Jinping disapproves, his intervention becomes a disruptive force, akin to inserting the shortest stave into the barrel, causing the vitality to vanish. The Chinese internet application sector quickly loses its vigor under these circumstances. Similarly, this influence extends to the computer gaming field, causing it to wane just when there is optimism. The same pattern emerges in areas such as education and the training industry, technology, leading to unfavorable outcomes. Xi Jinping is inserting these staves everywhere, and they are all the shortest, causing all the water to leak out. I'm not particularly concerned about any military conflicts in the Taiwan Strait for this reason. There is really nothing to be worried about. If Xi Jinping inserts a stave in the military sphere, it would be a disaster, wouldn't it? So in a way, Xi Jinping can contribute significantly to global peace. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you again shortly. Until then, be well.